Offside, out of bounds. Welcome to Offside and Out of Bounds, Episode 2, the Bullpen. This is where you're going to win or lose your fantasy league. If you've got a couple of flex positions and a couple closer roles, depending on the league you're in, load up on closers as much as possible. Now, don't ignore starting pitching, but you want to get as many closers as possible, and I'll tell you why. Number one, they lower your whip, they lower your ERA, they're going to give you the save totals that you require, but most importantly, they can end up being huge trade chips come trade deadline or throughout the season when guys are getting mangled by people with great pitching staffs and their offenses aren't clicking as much as they need to. So let's run through the top 5 and we'll give you our picks for who we want in our bullpen. Let's go. Now, coming in at the number 1 overall ranked bullpen pitcher, Josh Hader, who was 1-2 last year with 13 saves, 19 innings pitched, 31 strikeouts with a whip of 947 and a KBB ratio of 3-1. I do like him. I don't like the team he is on. The projections at Baseball Reference have him finishing the year off at 3-3 with a 3.57 ERA, 15 saves, and a 3.77 KBB ratio. Don't know where they get those numbers from. I think those saves are going to be a lot higher than that, depending on how many games Milwaukee is in or out of. So pick your poison. Coming in at number 2 in the bullpen rankings is Liam Hendriks. Last year was 3-1, 14 saves, a 1.78 ERA in 25 innings pitched with 37 strikeouts, a whip of .671, and a KBB ratio of 12.33. Obviously, shortened season, it's not going to be that high. Baseball Reference does have him wrapping up this year at 4-4 with a 3.26 ERA with 14 saves and a 3.8 KBB ratio. With the White Sox, they are going to be competitive. I don't know how many close games they're going to be in. They are in a tough division, so we can definitely see the closer role here being used quite a bit more than Milwaukee. So if I am to be a guessing man, I would put Hendriks above Hader, but that's me. Coming in at the number 3 spot is El Pistol, Aroldis Chapman, who was 1-1 last year, 3 saves, a 3.09 ERA, in 11 innings pitched with 22 strikeouts, an 8.57 whip, and a KBB ratio of 5.5. Seems like it was a little bit underutilized last year, short year, so let's kind of chalk that up. He is getting older at 31 now, a lot of miles on that arm, a lot of pressure on that arm. He has been seen to go down a bit. Baseball Reference does have him finishing the year at 3-2 with a 3.72 ERA, 13 saves, and an ERA just a tad under 3 at 2.95. I like him a bit more than Hader. I think the Yankees are going to be very competitive in a lot of close games this year. So in terms of rotation at this point, I do have Hendriks 1, Chapman 2, Hader 3. Coming in at the 4th spot is El Mago, Edwin Diaz. Last year, 2-1, 6 saves, a 1.75 ERA, 25 innings pitched with 50 strikeouts. His whip was atrocious, and his KBB ratio of 3.57. The Mets did get a lot better. They're a little more competitive. It's a tough division with a lot of offense. There's going to be a ton of close games. I just don't know if I can see Diaz getting the better hand in most of those situations when he's facing those lineups. Don't like him in this spot. So if I were to put him anywhere, I'd keep him at 4 right now, behind Hendriks, Chapman, and Hader. And Baseball Reference has him finishing the year at 3-4 with a 4.02 ERA with 18 saves and a 3.53 KBB ratio. And coming in the 5th spot of the bullpen ranking is Raisel Iglesias, who is joining the Angels this year. Last year, he was 4-3, 8 saves, a 2.74 ERA, 23 innings pitched with 31 strikeouts, a whip of .913, and a KBB ratio of 6.2. Baseball Reference has him finishing at 4-6 with a 4 ERA, 16 saves, and a 3.2 KBB ratio. I do like him a bit better than Diaz, so let's put him in 4th and Diaz in 5th. So as I tend to do every year, I love to load up on closers and run them out on those flex spots. So give me Will Smith from Atlanta, Alex Colomé from Minnesota, Joakim Soraya from Arizona, Trevor Rosenthal in Oakland, and give me to round it out James Karinchak from Cleveland. I am going to load these guys up. I am going to run them out as much as possible. Great KBB ratios, great whips, great walk to strikeout ratio. Again, your KBB. And you set yourself up with 4 or 5 closers in that bullpen of yours, you're going to be stout and ready to compete. Again, forget about the middle relief and forget about the long relief. Just get yourself some strong closers, because at the end of the day, they're going to be a huge trade chip later down in the season when guys have injuries to their pitching or they're lacking pitching and getting smoked by people because of pitching. You'll be able to get yourself a nice big bat in return. Thanks for listening to our inaugural episode of our fantasy draft. This is Offside and Out of Bounds. I am at Junior. Stay safe, support local, and see ya real soon.